Yes. So we'll start with plant kingdom. Plant kingdom is slightly a medium sized chapter. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 1-2 ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ CET ಮತ್ತು NEET ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So in plant kingdom we'll study completely about plants. So remember when we did biological classification, many of you are asking, sir ನೀವು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅನಾಟಮಿ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನಾಟಮಿ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಐ ಗೋ ಟು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್, ಸೊ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನೋ what are the characteristic features of plants. One of the primary characteristic feature of all plants is they're all eukaryotic. They're all eukaryotic. That means they have a true nucleus, and all plants, they are photosynthetic. Okay, remember this, they are photosynthetic. They contain chloroplasts which help in photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. Then remember that plants will reproduce asexually, sexually, as well as vegetatively. Remember this, as well as vegetatively. Done. Then their cell wall is made out of cellulose. Their cell wall is made out of cellulose. Okay. Then they have a prominent vacuole which will store food materials, which will store food materials. Then how are these plants classified? So we'll see here now. So based on 3 systems, the plants have been classified. The first one is the artificial system, second one is the natural system, and the third one is the phylogenetic system. Now we'll go to it. Let us look at the first system. That is the artificial system of classification. What is artificial system of classification? Here we only take external features into consideration. ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್, ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್? ವಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್, color, number and shape of leaves. So number and shape of leaves. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ದೂರ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ಹೇಗಿದೆಯೋ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Just because they are similarities, we are putting them together. Okay. Then Linnaeus artificial system of classification was based on andrecium structure. ಅಂದ್ರೆ male reproductive part ಹೇಗಿದೆ, that is the andrecium. Based on that classification was made. Okay. So remember the students. So take it down. Points ಹೇಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೋತೀರಾ? Take down about artificial system of classification, who proposed it, and what are the characteristic feature of this artificial system of classification. This is important. Okay, take it down students. ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇದನ್ನ. Students, please do raise your volume in your phones. ಅಥವಾ ನೀವು ಏನು ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಫೋನ್ ಏನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೋ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಒಂದು 2 minutes ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಈ ತರ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಆ ಥರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. CET ನೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಕೇಳೋದು. ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಮೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದೇನು, ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತೋ ಅದು. Done? Okay. So did you all take this down? Now we'll go to the next one. ನೋಡಿ, drawbacks. So now we are not using this artificial system of classification. Why? Because there are many drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? They separated closely related species since they were based on few characters. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು 2 ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. So what would happen? Even though they are closely related, we have to place them distantly because their leaves did not look same or some external features. So next one, equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characters was given. So what happened? Vegetative characters andre just like leaves, roots, stem and all that. Sexual characters are a characteristic feature of the flowers. So this is not acceptable since the vegetative characters are more easily affected by the environment. So environmental features like height, drought, salinity or wind, all these would change the vegetative characters, whereas the reproductive characters would remain the same. That is why this could not be taken as a major form for classification. So take it down. Adrinda, Carolus lineage system is not a good system for classification. So if you have a doubt, you can type in the chat. Chat will type ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೌಟ್ ಏನೇ ಇದ್ರು. Done. So we go to the next one. So one of the most accepted, okay. The next one comes the natural system of classification. So these are based on natural affinities among organisms. So what do we do here? We take the external features as well as internal features into consideration. So look at this. We take the external features as well as internal features into consideration. So what do you mean by internal features? We mean ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology, and phytochemistry. So what do you mean by ultrastructure? Ultrastructure means the structure of cells and all that. Then anatomy, how the internal parts are. Then embryology, so how the embryo develops. And phytochemistry. So what do you mean by phytochemistry? That means what are the chemicals that are present inside the cell. Okay. So I'll just complete this, then I'll show you the previous slide again. Example, classification of flowering plants by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. So flowering plants, that is angiosperms, were classified by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. So I'll just put the previous slide, copy it down, and then we'll come to the next slide. Okay. Now, just okay. Take it down, students. So if you're done anta chat ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. Okay, very good. Now ಇದು ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Come on, take it down. Good. Fast. So ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು? ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬರೀ ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಗಿಡ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಮತ್ತು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಅನಾಟಮಿ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಬರೀ ಮಾರ್ಫಾಲಜಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅನಾಟಮಿ. ಸೊ ಗಿಡದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಒಳಗೆ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಡನ್. ಓಕೆ, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನೌ. Phylogenetic classification system. So what do you mean by phylogenetic classification system? These are based on evolutionary relationships. Andre one organism innond organism inda heg bantu anta. Okay, so they are using only evolutionary relationships among organisms. Are you understanding? So this assumes that organisms in the same taxa have a common ancestor. So ondrinda innond heg bantu anta gotadre, so we'll be easily able to say which one is closely related. So ಈಗ ನಾವೇ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಲ್ವಾ, humans and chimpanzees are closely related because both of them will come from the same group. So take it down first. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ just ಈ ತರ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So phylogenetic classification system anta barkondo based on evolutionary relationships ashte. This assumes that organisms the same taxa have common ancestors. So for example, ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಚಿಂಪಾಂಜಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾರು ancestor? ಮತ್ತು ಗೊರಿಲ್ಲಾಗೆ monkeys are the ancestors, like that. Okay. So ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಗೆ ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. Okay, like that. So they've done that for plants also. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಈಗ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಗ್ರಾಸಸ್, ಹುಲ್ಗಳಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬರೋದು? ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕಿ, ರಾಗಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೋದು. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಮೊನೊಕಾಟ್ಸ್. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಸೀನ್? ನಾವು ತಿನ್ನೋ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಮೊನೊಕಾಟ್ಸ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿ ರೈಸ್, ರಾಗಿ, ವೀಟ್, ಜೋವರ್, ಬಾರ್ಲಿ. ಡನ್? ಓಕೆ. ನೌ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. ನೋಡಿ, we'll use other ones also for classification. So which are they? So now idu main yadu artificial, natural, phylogenetic. So basically majority we use natural and phylogenetic. Artificial we usually don't use because of very external features ashte nodta ide. Okay. Now other sources to resolve the problems of classification. So now we might have two very closely related ones. So adrallu eno differences iruttalla. So we have to see. So first one, we look at numerical taxonomy. So what is numerical taxonomy? Numerical taxonomy is where we use numbers and codes, okay, are assigned for special characters and the data are processed. Thus hundreds of characters can be easily considered. So ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು 2 ಗಿಡ ತಗೋತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ 4 ಗಿಡ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು 5 ಇದೆ, A B C D E. We'll take one character. If it is present in all of them, we'll put plus. ನೋಡಿ, all of them they have. Here only 3 of them have it, the others don't have it. So based on that, how many similarities and dissimilarities is there? Based on that, we can classify 2 organisms, 2 plants. Are you understanding? This is important. Gothirli. Then cytotaxonomy, based on cytological information like chromosome number, structure, behavior. So idrinda 2 ಗಿಡಗಳು closest ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬಹುದು. Then chemotaxonomy, it uses chemical constituents of a plant. See, I'll tell you. If you look at few plants in Karnataka, they'll be able to produce certain fragrances. Okay, ಕೆಲವು smells produce ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Okay, some of them belong to they're very close and they produce certain kind of resins or tannins. ಈಗ ರಬ್ಬರ್ ಗಿಡ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ತರ ರಬ್ಬರ್ ವೆರೈಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಸೊ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ದಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ವುಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ಕ್ಲೋಸೆಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಟೀಕ್ ವುಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು 2-3 ವೆರೈಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ certain chemicals that are produced in plants. Okay, so take it down, take this down please. Give you 2 minutes of time, all of you write it down. Okay, now we go to the next part. So the plant kingdom is classified into algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, now we'll look at algae. Okay, so what are algae? They are simple ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಅಥವಾ 2 ಸೆಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Thalloid. So what do you mean by thallus? Undifferentiated plant body. Are you understanding? It is undifferentiated plant body. Then chlorophyll bearing. That means they have a green pigment called chlorophyll. Okay. Aquatic, fresh and marine. Freshwater and kere, ponds, lakes, all those places. Marine means in ocean and sea. Ocean and sea. Okay. So they are found in those regions. They also occur in moist stones, solid and wood. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು wherever water is flowing or wherever there is a waterfall or water puddling there. So you will see algae growing on it. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಚಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಪಾಚಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಕೆಲವು ಕೆರೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ ನೀರು. Why? Because of presence of algae. Okay. And they occur in association with fungi and animals. So fungi ಜೊತೆ ಏನು? They have a symbiotic association with fungi. Okay, they have a symbiotic association with fungi. That means both of them are benefited. That means both of them are benefited. Keep this in mind. Both algae and fungi are benefited. So take it on, students. One second. Take this down. Done? Okay. Now we'll go to the next slide. So see here, students. So how are they? See, look at them. One second, somebody has a doubt here. One second. What is that? Sir, lichen. Okay. Now, form and size of algae is highly variable. So ಇದನ್ನ plant kingdom ಅಲ್ಲಿ include ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ they are not very big ones like plants. Plants ತರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Why? Because they have thallus, that is undifferentiated plant body. So green color ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So usually they are green and they are all microscopic. That is very important. They are microscopic, unicellular forms like chlamydomonas. So if you have to see them, you should watch them only under the microscope. Okay. Then colonial forms. Example, volvox. Can you see here? Many of them together. Colonial forms called as volvox. Filamentous forms called as Spirogera. Can you see this? They are spirally arranged. Take it down. Okay, I think all of you have written it. So remember the examples, students. Remember the examples. The examples are very important because they would ask you colonial forms yavadu, filamentous forms yavadu anta. Okay, especially in Neet. And don't study any other example other than the textbook. Textbook illi ನಾವು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ examples ಅಷ್ಟು ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. Okay, now so look at this. So these are the ones. Then how do they reproduce is very important. So they can reproduce by fragmentation. So nodili, this is a filament of Spirogera. If you cut this filament, each piece will grow into a new group of algae. Okay, done. So then asexual reproduction. So without the involvement of gametes. So this is by production of spores. What type of spores? Zoospores. So what are zoospores? Zoospores are spores which are motile. Okay, which are motile. That is why they are called as zoospores. They germinate and give rise to new plants. And sexual reproduction is through fusion of two gametes. Okay, fusion of few gametes. That is a male gamete and a female gamete. I think all of you have taken it. Okay. Now we go to the next part. Sexual reproduction. This is very important. What happens in sexual reproduction? There will be two types of gametes produced. Two types of gametes produced. One is male gamete, the other one is female gamete. One is male gamete, the other one is female gamete. Okay. In male gamete, okay, in male gamete and female gamete, they might look absolutely the same. ಎರಡು ಒಂದೇ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಏನು ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. So that is called as isogamy. Isogamy. Okay. Now, can you see here an isogamy? Both of them look absolutely the same. No difference at all. That is isogamy. Okay. So they may be motile or not motile. ಹೇಗಾದ್ರೂ ಇರಬಹುದು. Okay. They might have flagella, they might not have flagella, but both male and gamete will look absolutely the same and you'll not be able to differentiate. Okay. The second one is anisogamy. So here male and female gamete will be different. Size difference irbodu, shape difference irbodu, they might be different. Okay. Example in some species of Chlamydomonas. Whereas the last one you have, which is called as oogamy. So what is oogamy? Where the female gamete is large and non-motile. So it is large and non-motile. And the male gamete is small and motile. That time it is called as oogamy. That time it is called as oogamy. Okay. Are you understanding? Oogamy. So take it down. Example, Olvox and Focus. Done. So now we go to the next part. That is, what are the benefits of algae? What are the benefits of algae? So remember, algae is very, very important. Okay. So why? Because they are like producers in the ocean. Okay. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಓಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಇದೆ, ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಥ್ರೂ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ದೇ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ half of the total carbon dioxide of the earth and increase the level of dissolved oxygen. So in water, they'll increase the amount of dissolved oxygen. Then they are primary producers and the basis of food cycle of all aquatic animals. So take this down. They are primary producers, just like plants that are found on earth. You have algae in water, which will help in production of food. and this algae will be eaten by small organisms. Nodi ಇಲ್ಲಿ diagram ನೋಡಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. Small organisms. This will be eaten by slightly smaller fish, then by larger fish and huge fish. Okay, so take it down. Done. Okay, now we go to the next part. So about 70 species of marine algae are used as food. Then agar agar, you would have heard about it, obtained from Gelidium and Gracilaria, is used to grow microbes and used in ice creams and jellies. So take it down, used in ice creams and jellies. Done. So now it's better. Then we go to different classes of Onimsha. Oh, sorry. This one I forgot. So marine brown and red algae, they produce hydrocolloids, which produce water holding substances. Okay. These are used commercially. So in packing and all that. Okay. Then the last one, protein rich unicellular algae like chlorella and spirulina are used as food supplements by space travelers. So spirulina, so and also by people who are protein deficient. So protein consumption tumba kammi irutte. So they can be given spirulina. So remember this. You would also studied about single cell protein in microbes in human welfare. Allu kuda idu help agutte. Spirulina. Take it down, students. Done. Okay. Now we go to the next part. The different types of algae. So different classes of algae. We have Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. Commonly called as green algae, brown algae, and red algae. Green algae, brown algae, and red algae. Okay. So why are they called so? These are called so based on the pigments present. Based on the pigments present. Okay. Are you understanding? Based on the pigments present in them. Okay. But remember the students, in this part, you have to know what is the pigment in them. Sir, what is the pigment in them? Then what is the storage material in them? Very, very important. Usually asked in NEET and CET. First, we'll go to Chlorophyceae. So they are unicellular, colonial, or filamentous forms. Okay, or filamentous forms. Okay, usually grass green due to pigments chlorophyll A and B in the chloroplast. Due to chlorophyll A and B in the chloroplast. The chloroplasts may be discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiral, or ribbon-shaped in different species. So remember this, they are unicellular, okay, colonial, that means many of them together are like filaments. So very important, please do remember chlorophyll A and B. This one, chlorophyll A and B. Just a second. This one. Done. Somebody has asked discoid. Discoid means disc shaped. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇರಂ ಪಾನ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ರೌಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಥರ. Okay, discoid, disc shaped. Okay, done. So next over. So we'll go to the next part. Storage material ಏನು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So storage material is very important here. Okay, so they are stored in pyrenoids located in chloroplasts. Pyrenoid contain protein besides starch. So remember this, pyrenoids contain protein besides starch. Contain protein besides starch. So some algae store food as oil droplets. They have a rigid cell wall made of an inner cellulose layer and outer pectose layer. This is very important. Rigid cell wall made out of inner cellulose and outer pectose. Done. Okay, so I'll repeat once more. Most of them have one or more pyrenoids. Pyrenoids are structures which will store material, which will store food material, and they are located in chloroplasts, and pyrenoids contain protein besides starch. So they have a rigid cell wall made up of cellulose and pectose. So cell wall nalli bari cellulose irutte normal plants alli. Here we have pectose also. Done, students? Okay. We'll go to the next one. So idon barkombi examples barkoli. Examples you take down. Examples you take down. Done. So we go to the next part. Reproduction. So here, reproduction is by vegetative form. Remember, normal alien same fragmentation or by formation of different types of spores. Asexual reproduction by flagellated zoospores produced by zoosporangia. Okay. Then sexual reproduction is isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous. So the ಎಲ್ಲ types ಏನಿದೆ that will happen in Chlorophyceae. Done. Okay. Now we go to the next part, the next type. Which is the next type? Phaeophyceae, also called as brown algae, also called as brown algae. Chlorophyceae, chlorophyll itto, green algae. Phaeophyceae, brown algae. So here they are mostly marine forms and they show a great variation in size and form. They range from simple branched filamentous forms. Okay, can you see here? Ectocarpus and anodili, simple branched filamentous forms to profusely branched forms, example kelps, which can reach up to 100 meters in height. So they'll spread along the ocean floor. Okay. Then they have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, and carotenoids. And carotenoids. So remember this. This is very important. Chlorophyll A, ಎಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲೂ chlorophyll A ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay. But the other ones will differ. A, C, carotenoids and xanthophylls. And storage material ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಕಲಿಬೇಕು. So they vary in color from olive green to brown depending upon the amount of xanthophylls. So xanthophylls gives them the brown color. Okay. So remember this, xanthophyle will give them brown color. So chlorophyll A, ಮೂರು ತರ chlorophyll ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ. Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ chlorophyll A and C ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಈಗ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ. ಆರ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್? ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ. ಸೊ ಮೂರು ತರ ಇದೆ, ಎ ಬಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ. ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫೈಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಫಿಯೋಫೈಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ ಇದೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Phaeophyceae will have A and C ಆ ತರ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಮೂರು ತರ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಫಿಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಎ ಬಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ. ಸೊ Chlorophyceae will have A ಮತ್ತು B. Phaeophyceae will have A and C. Okay. Then carotenoids and xanthophylls. So the color is due to fuxoxanthin. So take it down. The color is due to fuxoxanthin. Done. So done. So we'll go to the next part. Okay. So how is food stored? Look at this. Food is stored as complex carbohydrates, that is laminarian or mannitol. So vegetative cells have a cellulosic wall covered by Gelatinous coating of algin. Gelatinous coating of algin. Are you understanding? Protoplast contain plastid central vacuole nucleus that is there with all the cells. So what is very important is what all I'm underlining now. Take it down. Okay. Then the plant body. So illu kuda thallus. It is a thallus where you don't have differentiated structures like root, stem, and leaves. So thallus is an undifferentiated plant body. But here they have something called as a hold stalk, hold fast, and a stalk called a stipe, and a leaf-like photosynthetic organ called frond. So remember this, very important. Okay. Example: Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Sargassum, and Fucus. All the examples are also very, very important. So take it down. Done. So we'll go to the next one. So reproduction. So how does reproduction takes place here? So same conditions will come here. Look at this. Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. But remember here, they're absolutely by asexual reproduction is absolutely by biflagellate zoospores. That means they will have two flagella. That means they will have two flagella. Then sexual reproduction. Take down only this isogamous, anisogamous, and oogamous. Okay. So don't take all this. Ishtu matra kaltಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಸಾಕು, this part. So take it down first. Done. Okay. Now we'll go to the next part. That is Rhodophyceae, also called as red algae, also called as red algae. Okay. Rhodophyceae. Why is it red? It is due to the pigment R phycoerythrin. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, fuxoxanthin ಅಂತ. Same type here. Same type here we have R phycoerythrin, which gives the red color. So majority are marine, and they are especially in warmer areas, and they occur in both well lighted regions close to the surface of water and at great depths in the ocean where light is very less. Okay. ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೆಳಕಿರೋ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಲೈಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರೋ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ದ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ R phycoerythrin. Pigment is R phycoerythrin. Done? Okay. Now we'll go to the next part of this one. So here they have a complex body organization and they're all multicellular, and food is stored as Floridian starch, and food is stored as Floridian starch, which is structurally very similar to amylopectin and glycogen. This is very, very important, students. This part is very important. The food is stored as Floridian starch. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ pigments ಮತ್ತು storage material ಎರಡೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ. Okay. Done. Floridian starch, which is similar to amylopectin and glycogen, and take down the examples. The examples are also important. So somebody has asked a question here. 1 second. What is it? Okay, the question. 1 minute. I'll just see. What is this warmer? Somebody has asked a question. You need to. What is gelatinous coating? Okay, somebody has asked what is gelatinous coating. So on the surface of the cell, there will be a slimy structure. So to maintain itself in water, okay, slightly. Okay, somebody has asked what is warmer ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾರ್ಮರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಚ್ಚಗಿರೋ ಜಾಗ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ವಾರ್ಮರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೆಚ್ಚಗಿರೋದು ಅಂತ. Okay, I think now you are able to see. Okay, I think now you are able to see. Okay, fine. So ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ವಾರ್ಮರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಚ್ಚಗಿರುವಂತ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ವಾರ್ಮರ್ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, so done. So we'll go to the next part. ಇದರ reproduction. So here very important, vegetative reproduction, fragmentation. ಮೂರಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ fragmentation is there, but asexual reproduction. So what happens in brown algae? So there are biflagellate spores. Here they are non-motile spores. Remember this, they are absolutely non-motile spores, and sexual reproduction is only oogamous. ನೋಡಿ ಬೇರೆ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಐಸೋಗೇಮಸ್, ಅನೈಸೋಗೇಮಸ್ ಮತ್ತು oogamous ಮೂರು ಇರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. Here it is only oogamous. So take it down. Done. So take it down fast. Done. Okay. Good. So now, so this part is very important. Comparison of all the three forms of algae. 1 second. One second. All of you see this? ಒಂದ್ಸಲಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ಆಲ್ಗೆನ್ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ನೋಡಿರಿ, ಥಿಯರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವು ಬುಕ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ನೀಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಓದೋದು ಟೈಮ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸಮಯ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಈ ಥರದ್ದೊಂದು ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇದೊಂದು ಟೇಬಲ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಮೇನ್ ಏನಾಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ನೋ ದ ಪಿಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್ ಫುಡ್, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ದೆನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದು 2 minutes ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿದೀನ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ. Okay, somebody has told. Okay, done. So all of you have done this. So this completes algae. Okay, this completes algae. So algae, what all should you remember? You should remember mainly 3 types of algae. 3 types of algae. So 3 types of algae: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. Okay, Rhodophyceae. So remember that. Then the pigments: chlorophyll, green. Okay, so phycoerythrin, red, oxoxanthin, all that you should know. Okay, then the storage materials. Okay, so that is very, very important. Okay, okay. Somebody has asked, what is brackish water? Okay, so brackish water, it occurs in the natural environment, have more salinity than fresh water, but not as much as sea water. ಸಮುದ್ರದ ನೀರಿಗಿಂತ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಸೆಲಿನಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ನೀರಿಗಿಂತ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಉಪ್ಪು ನೀರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ರಾಕಿಶ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ರಾಕಿಶ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ವಾಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಥರ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಬ್ರಾಕಿಶ್ ವಾಟರ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಿಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ವಾಟರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನದಿ ನೀರು ಮತ್ತು ಸಮುದ್ರದ ನೀರು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲವು ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀಪೇಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ರಾಕಿಶ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್ಚುರೀಸ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬ್ರಾಕಿಶ್ ವಾಟರ್. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, give concept about the number of flagellates. Okay, so now, okay, sir, I have only cut down the video. I'll show you now. We'll go with a new one. So here, flagella, all of you should remember, if it is Chlorophyceae, 2 to 8, okay, equal flagella. Whereas in Phaeophyceae, unequal lateral flagella. In Rhodophyceae, flagella is absent. Ashte simple. In Rhodophyceae, flagella is absent. So now we'll go to the next part, that is bryophytes. Okay, just a minute. Yes, I'll show you the screen. Just a minute. So I think you should be able to see now. Start with bryophytes. So after algae, the next kingdom is bryophytes. Okay. Now, what happens in bryophytes? Bryophytes are usually called amphibians of the plant kingdom. Amphibians of plant kingdom. So, as we all know, what are amphibians? You will say that which will live on land, both land and water. That is called as amphibian. Okay, easy. Okay, but how are plants amphibians then? So here, bryophytes are such plants, okay, which can live in soil, but they require water for sexual reproduction. Such ones are called as amphibians of plant kingdom. So they occur in damp, humid, and shaded localities. Okay, so they are in damp, humid, and shaded localities. Damp andre ಏನು moisture, humid andre the air should contain lot of water vapor. Are you understanding? Lot of water vapor, that is called as humid. And shaded regions. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಈ ತರ ಜಾಗಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಟು ದ ಸಿ. ಈಗ ಮಲೆನಾಡು ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹತ್ರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗ, ಚಿಕ್ಕಮಂಗ್ಳೂರು, ಇಂಥ ಜಾಗಗಳು. ಸೊ ಸಮ್ಮರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ಬಿದ್ರೂ ಏನು ಶಕೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ವೇಪರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಏರ್. Are you understanding? In that way. Take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. So body is more differentiated than that of algae. In algae, it is just green cells, normal cells. Here, it is slightly differentiated when compared to algae. Are you understanding? When compared to algae. So remember this. This is very important when compared to algae. Then, it has a thallus-like prostate or erect and attached to substratum by unicellular and multicellular rhizoids. So they don't have roots here. They have rhizoids. Okay. Then prostate means what? That means they are attached to the soil. Okay, full flat agirutte anta. Then they might be erect. Erect means that means they might be standing. Can you see here? The one here in the diagram. Okay. So they lack true roots. So what do you mean by true roots? They don't have xylem, phloem, and all that. So they lack true roots. Okay, this is important. Stem or leaves. They may possess root-like, leaf-like, or stem-like structures. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? Root-like, stem-like, okay, leaf-like, ಆ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, remember this. The main plant body is haploid. What do you mean by haploid? That means they have a single set of chromosome. That means they have a single set of chromosome. Are you understanding? Single set of chromosome. Okay. So now we'll have diploid, two sets of chromosomes. So we might have a single set of chromosome. So it produces gametes. Hence it is called gametophyte. Phyte in a plant. Hence it is called gametophyte. Okay. Take it down, students, fast. Done? All of you finished? Okay. Okay. Now, here, because it is a gametophyte, it will produce gametes. It will produce gametes. Okay. It will produce gametes. Okay. So these gametes are produced on sex organs, that is male sex organ and female sex organ. Male sex organ and female sex organ. The male sex organ is antheridium, which will produce biflagellate antherozoites. So what do you mean by antherozoites? Those are the male gametes. Plants and anthers antherozoites here. So female sex organ archegonium in a flask shape and produces single egg. So take it down. Done? Okay. Now we go to the next part. So the antherozoites are released to water to meet the archegonium and meet the archegonium. The antherozoite fuses with the egg to form a zygote. The zygote is diploid. So remember this, the zygote is diploid. Fast, take it down. Done. Okay. Now we go to the next part. The zygote, which is diploid, will not undergo meiosis. So it will just undergo mitosis so that the number of chromosomes will remain the same, and it will form the sporophyte, and it forms a multicellular body called as the sporophyte. So remember this, and it forms a multicellular body called as the sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free living but attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte. The sporophyte is not free living, but it is attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and derives nutrition from it. Okay. So some cells of the sporophyte will undergo meiosis to produce haploid spores. These spores will germinate to form the gametophyte. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನರ್ಥ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಝೈಗೋಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತೋ ಅದು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟ್. It will divide and form the sporophyte. Are you understanding? It will divide and form the sporophyte. This sporophyte is not free living. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, female gamete will be on the archegonia. So here all that will stay as it is. Female ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ತಾನೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋದು. So what will happen later, this one will develop on it, produce spores. So how does it produce spores? By undergoing meiosis. Are you understanding? By undergoing meiosis, and these spores are haploid spores. These haploid spores will germinate to form gametophyte. So they will alternate with each other. So take it down. Okay, now we'll go to the next part. So what is the importance of bryophytes? So why bryophytes are needed? So some mosses provide food for herbaceous mammals and birds. So some of them will be consumed by organisms in very cold temperature. In very cold temperature, example reindeer moss. Example reindeer moss, which will eat these mosses, that is these bryophytes. Okay, and even to birds. So the next one is sphagnum. So a moss is used as peat, it is used as fuel. It has water holding capacity, so that can be used in packing material for transshipment of living material. So for example, whenever plant products have to be transported, whenever plant products have to be transported, like orchids and all that, so they will be sent through these bryophytes. So bryophytes are used as packaging material. So ಅದು moisture ನ ಹಿಡಿದಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so take it down. Done. So we go to the next part. So they are economically important because their role in plant succession. So you would have studied about ecological succession in your second year. So what happens on a rock once there are lichens? Okay, you have the second group of organisms coming up. Okay, second group of organisms coming up, that would be these bryophytes. So mosses along with lichens, they'll decompose the rock, and the upper surface will get loosened up. So ಅದನ್ನು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಡಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, which will help in making new soil particles. Okay, which will make new soil particles. That means when new soil particles are formed, what will happen? The substrate is suitable for growth of higher plants. The substrate is suitable for growth of higher plants. Okay, so remember this. Take it down. Take it down. So since mosses form dense mat on soil, they can also prevent soil erosion. So take it down first. Herbaceous ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಹುಲ್ ತರ ಸಣ್ಣದಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, extremely small plants, they are called as herbaceous plants. Herbaceous ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? So one second, brinjal plant example for small plants are, yes, brinjal plant is a herbaceous plant, but it is not a bryophyte. Okay, it is not a bryophyte, so keep that in mind, it's not a bryophyte. Okay, decompose means those which will help in if there is a dead plant, it will convert the organic material into inorganic material. The kannadalli ಕೊಳಿಯೋದು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. Okay, see for example, if a plant is dead, so what will happen? It will decompose. It will be acted upon by smaller organisms which will decompose it. Okay, ಆ ಥರ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಕ್ನ ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ರಾಕ್ನ ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ತೆಗೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸ್. ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸರ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಈಗ? ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಟೂ ಮೇಜರ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ bryophytes? Liverworts and mosses. So look at this. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ ನೀವು, ಹೊಳೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವು ಕೆರೆಗಳ ಹತ್ರ ಅಥವಾ ನೀರು ಹರಿತಾ ಇರೋ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ವಾಟರ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ, ಆ ಥರ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಲಿವರ್ ವಾಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಗ್ರೋ ಇನ್ ಮಾಯಿಸ್ಟ್ ಶೇಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ಯಾಟ್ ಸಚ್ as banks of streams, marshy ground, damp soil, bark of trees and deep in the woods. So what do you mean by moist? ತೇವ ಇರೋದು, ಶೇಡಿ ನೆರಳಿರೋ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೊಳೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಸ್, ಮಾರ್ಷಿ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ಸೊ ಕೆಸರಿರೋ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ, ಡ್ಯಾಂಪ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್, ಬಾರ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್, ತೊಗಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಡೀಪ್ ವುಡ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಫುಲ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಜಂಗಲ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಇದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ದ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಇಸ್ ಥ್ಯಾಲಾಯ್ಡ್. ಥ್ಯಾಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ undifferentiated undifferentiated plant body. I'm extremely sorry. Undifferentiated plant body. That means there are no root, stem or leaves. Okay, then the thallus is dorsiventral and closely oppressed to the substrate. Dorsiventral ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಫುಲ್ಲು ಒತ್ತೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಫ್ಲಾಟ್ ಆಗೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಡಾರ್ಸಲಿ ವೆಂಟ್ರಲಿ ಫುಲ್ ಫ್ಲಾಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೆಲಕ್ಕೆ ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಚ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್. ದೆನ್ ದ ಲೀಫಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೈನಿ ಲೀಫ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಪೆಂಡೇಜಸ್. ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಲೀಫ್ ತರ ಒಂದು ಪೀಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಪೆಂಡೇಜಸ್ ಇನ್ 2 rows on the stem like structures. Okay, so take it down. Markantia is a type of liverwort. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಇದು, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಶಿಯಾ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಶಿಯಾ. Take it down fast. Done. ಅಪೆಂಡೇಜ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಫುಟ್ ತರ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಪೆಂಡೇಜ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ದೆನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನಾವು. ಸೊ reproduction, asexual reproduction by fragmentation. So fragmentation means cutting. One sudden piece ಏನಾದ್ರು cut ಆದ್ರೆ that will grow into a new thallus. Okay, so or by formation of gemma, singular gemma. So gemma are green, can you see it? Green multicellular asexual buds that develop in small receptacles. Can you see here? Gemma cups on the thalli. So the gemma are detached from the parent body and germinate to form new individuals. So these can come off and will form new plant body altogether. Okay, so take it down first. First, take it down. Okay. So finished. So we'll go to the next one. Sexual reproduction. So male and female sex organs are produced on the same or different thalli. So both of them can be on the same thalli or on different thalli. Then the sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta, and capsule, slightly advanced than the algae, than the algal members. Okay, remember this. After meiosis, spores are produced within the capsule. After meiosis, spores are produced within the capsule. These spores germinate to form free living gametophytes. Remember this. Okay, free living gametophytes, whereas the other ones, they were free living, whereas sporophytes are parasitic. They grow on gametophytes. So take it down first.
Two minutes ಇದೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್.
Okay. Take it down, students, first.
Time up, sir.
Okay. Students, so we'll continue in the next class. We'll do mosses. So now liverworts ಮುಗಿಸಿದೀವಿ ಇವತ್ತು. So the next class we'll do with mosses. Okay. So please do read all this and come. So after we complete with the synopsis, we'll do MCQs. So next class ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಏನಿದೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದ್ರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಾವು MCQs ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಬನ್ನಿ ಆಯ್ತಾ. Okay students, thank you. We'll see you in the next class.